Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Hmm. It seems that some of my settings are messed up, so give me a moment, guys, and we will get started. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I think most of the audio issues are resolved. I may have to fiddle with it a little bit later, but right now I would like to focus on just trying to save my lovely empire from collapse. Alright. Alright. Rome, I'm gonna leave Rome alone for right now. Rome alone. That was a bad joke. I'm gonna stop that before I even get started. I'm gonna put a stop to that. How much food do you have? 15, and we go from 50 to 100. So I'd lose 50. No, I do not have enough food for that. Not even close. So let's see here. Octodurun. Just untax you because that's just a waste of energy and money and time. Let's take a look at Spain real quick. Let me just get another lay of the land. I need more happiness. Why don't I have enough happiness? Happiness is important here. And what did I need? I needed a monastery, if I am not mistaken, because I think Christianity is also falling here. No, it's rising. It's rising. But so is Greco-Roman paganism, and we cannot allow that. Where's my big income earners, though? I think y'all are one of them. Yeah, you're one of my big income earners, so I need to keep you going. Let's see, public order plus 2. Sanitation plus 6, sanitation plus 4. Let's do that one, and let's upgrade you. Let's make everything really clean here. Public order plus 4, and that should, so 4, I'm still short by 2. This no good. This no good at all. I'm also going to be burning through my cash reserves real quick, but it's kind of low on food right now, so I need to kind of sprout. It doesn't matter. Within 2 turns, I'm not going to have enough time, so within 2 turns, I'll have to do something about it. So I might as well move you guys, or start moving you guys down here to quell these filthy rebels that will eventually be popping up in my backyard. Oh boy. Yes, for you guys, I need more cleanliness. Because I didn't do that the first time. Ooh, more food. Okay, let's see here. What do we got? Your average. So, and you have 100 food left over. Almost 100 food. Oh, we got rebels here. Jeez, that's not good. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Or at least the ending of one anyway. Ah, yes. The town of Londinium, which for some reason is holding out against all odds. It just won't go down. Alright, and repair you. Oh, no, don't do that. Avaricum. Where are you again? Ah, you were raided. Oof, that hurts. And I would like to get an army up there. And y'all are... let's see. I don't want to throw you at that, but it probably wouldn't hurt. And as for you guys, I'm going to let them make the first move. I'm going to let them come and attack me. So my main goal tonight is to at least stop all the invasions coming in. I thought I already beat these guys off. Wording, phrasing. I thought I already defeated these guys and that these were over. Did I not save last time? Did I not save? I must have not saved. Oh, we'll just continue where we are. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Ooh, hello. Getting raided. I think I sent you guys way up here, and then y'all got beat the other crap kicked out of y'all. And let's give us... No, let's actually move you guys up and give you some horsemen. We always want some horsies. Give me them horsies. I gotta wait. I don't want to wait a turn. It's not how we do things here. Carthago. Definitely repair you. Repair you. Repair you. Yeah, I need to really focus on getting more, let's see, you're a governor. Governor of what? That's you. Okay, so let's see. Let's make sure you have... There's the minus the corruption. I definitely want to reduce the corruption. And then I think I needed to mess with this place too. Yeah, I did. Because they have a small... Yeah, they've got an army running up their backside. Let's see, Tarentum. I need to get some happiness up in here too. I have neglected southern Italy for far too long. Oh man. Come at me, bro. Oh, they got a whole bunch of guys. Oh, I think this is one of those. I think this is one of the provinces that I lost early on. I thought I had an army up here, though. I thought I did. I don't know. See, I've got Western Roman separatists, and I have... Yeah, okay, I remember fighting this fight. And I think I only got through one extra round, or I think I had to stop. Yeah, that's what it is. I had to stop at my last fight. Because I didn't have the time. I was getting way too tired. Not that today's much better. I'm rather tired today, too, but, you know... Alright, let's move you guys here. I realized that pretty much any... Oh, no, hold on. I have... that. I forgot. I'm not defending a little itty-bitty town. I'm defending a city with walls. Alright. Let's speed this up a little bit, because I don't have any,
We are heavily out. The enemy approaches.
do they have, what do they got? Oh, yeah, this isn't going to go very well for me. I might as well just back you guys out right now. There's 0 point in me fighting up here. I'll move you guys back. can at least take out some of them. Aim at these guys and use your fancy schmancy archery stuff. I want that guy dead. I want just fire at the commander, bruh. So, I actually did some research around this for this time frame not too long ago, and I was not really surprised to hear about all this, or not here to read all the stuff that I did. I think I was a little bit surprised as to how eerily like the emperors in the last stages of the Roman Empire just did not give a crap about anything, or if they did, they were just so incompetent they just didn't do anything about it. It's just laziness. Now that mixed in with a few other things, but it just sounds like their leaders just did not care about so much stuff. I mean, as the Western Roman Empire was collapsing, they did nothing. Oh god. Uh-oh. Oh, there it goes. I was about to say, oh god, my game is crashing. Especially the Emperor. He did jack crap at this time. And I didn't realize how little he did until way later. Or until I did some catch-up history on it. It's bad. Like, he was a teenager whenever he took over the throne, which, okay, fine. You know, there's been some teenagers that have done really well over the years. I think Alexander the Great, if I remember correctly, when he started his campaigns, he was a teenager. I could be wrong, but I could remember. I thought that he did a decent job as a teenager. I say decent job, like he wasn't. He didn't have apathy towards his own country. Whereas this guy, I think it's Arcadius or Honorius, I can't remember which. They just did not care. That's from what I'm hearing, from what I read. They just did not give a crap. Or if they did a terrible job of showing it. Hard to tell sometimes. It's just so many units coming onto the map, I guess.
The gates have fallen. The enemy advances.
Oh my.
Our men are wavering.
Yeah, no, my cavalry's gone. This is just a fight to see how long I can last, not to actually win. Alright. Oh crap, don't tell me you're gonna come up this way.
The enemy is
Yep.
going for our general. Protect him.
Crap. Oh, form it. Yeah, boy. Yeah, this is gonna be nasty. So, but like, as far as I know, this kid did absolutely nothing to stop the invasions of his lands. And whenever I think Rome actually was sacked under his watch. Not think, I know it was. He just couldn't be bothered to do anything about it. Lucky him, though. Whenever it was sacked, he wasn't even there. He was in Ravenna,
Enemy units have returned to the battle.
which I find just horrendous. That, you know, people hadn't. Well, I guess eventually he did die. He didn't serve very long as emperor. But man, he royally screwed so much crap over. And then I feel bad just the fact that when they did split the empire, for some reason they didn't really think about money, which was dumb. The Eastern Roman Empire was horrendously wealthy, and the Western Roman Empire, not so much. They had no money. And then, of course, the West had all the problems. They had all the army issues, whereas the East was okay at the time. Yeah, I know. But it's crazy to think about just how people just stop caring and what it does to a nation. I mean, I get that the Roman Empire was so big, they had to do something with it, but the way they divided it up, the way the money worked, oh my gosh, like, by cutting it, I mean, you killed it. It's awful. I mean, you know, whenever they tried to do joint emperor tasks in the past, that it actually backfired or collapsed really quickly. I think, what was it? I forget his name. I forget who did it, but I know that it was one point where an emperor cut the empire into essentially 4 pieces, ruled by 4 different emperors. That didn't really work too well. that eventually consolidated back to one emperor again. They just could not get their crap under control. And from what it sounds like, it's just straight up greed. Okay, I'm not going to fight this. That's a waste. Yeah, I know. There's just no point in fighting a battle that I'm going to lose. Especially one that has no value in it. But yeah, it's crazy to think about how much the Western Roman Empire just did not bother to do much about anything. It's weird. It's one of those weird things where you just look at it and you go, how do you get there? Like how much power and how much complacency do you have that you just don't even bother to do the things you need to do to keep the empire from collapsing? Like, why don't you consolidate? Why don't you look at restructuring certain things or finding ways to make yourself more profitable? Something, anything than what you did. Jeez. Yeah, even with this is going to be a tough fight. I don't think I'll be able to win, but you never know. You never know. I might pull it out. I might pull it out of my hat. I don't have many ranged units though to pelt them from afar, which means I'm just going to rely really heavily upon my infantry. Alright, let's see. Barricade you and my enemies coming from this direction, and I want spearmen up front. Alright. Let's get my... Oh, I have archers. Archers up here. Armatores. Okay. And I also get the idea that, you're not, emperors and whatnot. Like, again, it seems like they had so much power and so much wealth at the time. They just bred themselves. I say bred themselves. They just stopped thinking that they could ever fall, even though they had lost multiple fights, and their power was waning. They just did not care. It's crazy. Oh, we're gonna die a lot. That I can guarantee. Hooray! Alright, enough of that. Let's get this fight going.
We don't stand a chance. The enemy outnumbers us.
Yes, they do. Indeed, they do. But that's okay. We're gonna make it. Kind of. We're gonna make it in a way. In a way.
Our general is under attack.
Where? Why is he under attack? Who's attacking him? Get him. Just pelt him over and over and over again. Just get him. Alright. Let's charge. Alright. Let's move it. Alright. Now let's get him right in his bunghole. Bam! Right in the bunghole. Yes. Yes. Now let's move you guys back out, and we're gonna do it again. Oh, those are out. Let's use these guys. What are we gonna do? Yes. Fantastic. Get him. Get him, horsies. Get him good. Still, I'm probably still not going to win. I'm burning through all my ammunition right at the beginning, and I have to deal with a bunch of dudes left over. Alright. Oh, jeez. I just murdered my infantrymen. Just absolutely butchered my line infantry. I've got more on the way. They just don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and the hits don't. The hits don't stop coming, and they 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 don't stop coming. Whatever that song is. A song from a long time ago for anyone who's young enough or old enough to remember it. Archers, I'm gonna have a problem with them. Still gonna need a set of soldiers to defend this. Alright. Yeah, as I was saying, I mean, the Empire just let itself die in so many ways in the West, and it's weird. And you know, I've heard many theories about why it fell, and I think a lot of people just don't really want to think about it because there's thousands of different things that could be. And this is fair. That's a fair assessment. That, you know, no one really knows exactly what one thing, because it wasn't just one thing. It was a whole bunch of little things. Personally, I think that it was just a matter of, you know, complacency. They built a system that relied very heavily upon they had a system that worked really well at the beginning, and they abandoned it because they wanted to make more money. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it looks like, in my opinion. Whenever you have a majority of your population that's not really invested in anything, then your empire is going to collapse. And maybe, yeah, they're invested in keeping the system going in a sense, but there's a lot of people that just didn't care. You know, at the time the empire was falling, and even before then, you had a bunch of you had just a very few people that ran almost everything. And when you have just a top-down socialized structure like that, I don't think it works. It's weird. I think every empire is doomed to failure, of course, but I think it's doomed to failure not because there's not a good idea underneath it, but it's doomed to failure because oh, hello. What's failing? It's doomed to failure because it breeds people that work and operate inside of a system that's not really meant to be done that way. It's not really meant to be that way. People aren't supposed to live that way. Alright, I need to knock out these guys ASAP. Get these archers off my back. Jeez. Oh my. Get him. Get you up here. Get you in Testudo. Yeah. Get him in the bango. Right there. Yes. If I can just break enough of them, that would be great. I don't need to kill all of them, I just need to win enough fights. Or enough skirmishes to make them not want to fight anymore. But that's going to end very quickly because my cavalry won't last long enough. Bam! Might as well watch it, right? He got poked in the tummy, and that was one poke too many. Oh, one of them broke. Oh, more of them broke. Fantastic. Completely broke, too. Ah, crap, friends. Well, not my friends. Hopefully those 20 cavalrymen can handle that fight. But I'm slowly chipping away at them, which means if we can keep doing this, I think there's a chance I might win. Although I won't be able to do it with the cavalry very long, but if I can get my infantry around the backside, I might be able to pull something off. I don't know how much of the infantry I'm going to need, but, you know, you get the idea. Let's see. Let's move you guys back a little bit. How many do you have left? 99 out of 160. Alright, let's keep going. You're tired. Crap. Okay. Let you guys rest for a little bit. I know you guys are probably exhausted or you're winded. You're not exhausted yet, but you're getting there. You're getting there. Okay, you need to charge in. Same as you guys. Use guys. And let's... Yeah.
The men are broken and are fleeing.
Where? Who's fleeing? Those aren't my guys. My guys don't run. There's nowhere to run to. Or, yeah, there's nowhere to run to. So they shouldn't be running.
It's running from the enemy.
No. Okay, so now you guys move to the side. It may not be a lot, but it's gonna hopefully do something, because y'all are gonna cut it close. I definitely need y'all to rest a little bit, so walking is the best I'm gonna be able to do with you.
The men are broken and running for their lives.
My spearmen finally gave in, huh? Well, it's to be expected. Just a bunch of spearmen. Hold on, lads. Just don't die. Or don't break, I should say. Oh, fantastic. Haha.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Charge. And you guys... run. Come on. Get hit in the back. Break. Run. Charge them. Hit him in the back. Break them. Do it now. Break them.
Move, you dogs! General!
Yes. Come on. Break them. I need you to break them. At least hurt their morale a little bit more. I don't have the units to keep doing this. Although these are essentially glorified suicide missions, I realize that. But if I can just do a little bit of damage on their morale and chip away at them like this, I'll take it. Wait, why are you winded all of a sudden? I thought y'all were in great shape. Now let's move you guys around. Let's get you doing a light little jog there. No, 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 no. Ah, wow, no, no. Crap. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Get in that fight. No!
Broken and are fleeing.
Crap. Well, that pretty much ends this fight if I break enough soldiers. All right. Let's let you guys get into position. Let you guys rest a little bit. I know y'all are tired. Let's give y'all a chance to rest. Get those archers. You really got to do something about these infantry, but I don't have the people.
Broken and running for their lives.
No, don't break. There's nowhere to run, guys. This is it. This is that final stand. You can't break. Come on. Just break them. Just start hurting their morale. I don't need to kill them. Just break their morale. What's going on, Grim?
Men, run from the enemy. This is shameful.
I'm trying my best to hold back the Western Roman Empire separatists. It's not working.
Our men are wavering.
Yeah, it's not working. Ironically, my spearmen are the only ones laughing. What's going on, brother? It's nice, nice, nice. Whoa, 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 whoa. Weird thing that I just did there by accident. Yeah. Long day for me, too.
The men have thrown down their
Well,
weapons and are
it was. No. I'm actually really close to winning if I could just break the last group. Which I don't think I'll be able to do. Yeah, I was just talking about the decline of the Western Roman Empire and why it declined. And the fact that the last emperor was, or I said the last emperor, the emperor at this time frame was just an incompetent boob. Although maybe incompetence is being way too nice. Incompetence implies that he tried. When really what it just sounds like is it sounds like everything that I read basically makes him sound like he just didn't care. Which is really, really weird. In my opinion, an emperor would care if his empire was collapsing and really... Oh, no, 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 no! Well, I did some damage. I did some really nice damage, but it wasn't enough. See, they lost... Now, see, they lost half their army, more than that. I butchered them, so that's nice. But they killed me. We got a fly in my office, apparently. Go away, fly. Shoo fly. Shoo fly. Oh, they didn't take it, so they just wanted to bleed me for it. Got it. But yeah, anyway, so like the emperor at this time, Flavius, I think it's Flavius, was just a complete, utter incompetent boob. That being said, he was a teenager that was probably raised in the life of luxury, so he had no idea what the heck he was doing. But it just astounds me that, like, even... He didn't last very long, either. The emperor here, I think, only lasted a few years. But if you look at most Roman emperors only lasted a few years. The only ones that lasted a long time were emperors that were very, 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 very popular. If people didn't like them, they usually didn't last very long. But I think see, who's this? I think it's Honorius or Arcadius. I can't remember which. They only lasted like a few years. Like I think it's like 2 to 4 is the most. But it's weird because his father. Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at some of the years, like there's emperors that lasted days, and when I mean days, I mean they didn't even make it a week. They were killed before they even made it into a week. Now that's a rarity. Well, it's dangerous because if you so the thing about it is that after emperors started murdering each other to get power, they then would have to rely on the people under them who would then murder them for their power. Like that's the dirty little secret that like for some reason nobody wanted to think about was, hey, I'll kill this guy because I can do a better job. Okay, fine. Well, guess what? The person underneath you is going to think the same thing. You know, like I really think that you're going to get your comeuppance somehow. All right, let's fast forward this a little bit. But yeah, you're going to get your comeuppance. Like don't butcher people, and guess what? They probably won't be butchering you either. Life won't butcher you that way. What can I say? But I get like why people would do it. I get how people would murder and bribe to become the most powerful man in the empire. Like that's a really powerful thing to have, you know. The problem is that it's not enough. Well, you'd think so, but like if you look at Caligula, Caligula was extremely bloodthirsty, but he became extremely bloodthirsty after he got really sick, and he became paranoid because his Praetorian Guard actually were planning to put, I think, Britannicus on the throne, and Britannicus was either his brother or cousin. I cannot remember which, so forgive me about that. I just can't remember which one it is. I want to say it was his brother, and maybe that was Nero. I can't remember. It's been too long. I'd have to look up Caligula. Anyway, so Caligula actually started murdering everybody. You know, I'm confusing Nero and Caligula, but Caligula, he got sick with a fever, and once his fever broke, he realized that the Praetorian Guard and a bunch of other people were basically moving on without him, and his empire was slipping away from his hands. So what he did is that he started murdering everybody, and apparently he allegedly became horrendously unstable, and I don't think he did. I think that what he did is that he's a smart kid. This kid, not that, Caligula's the third Roman emperor, so it took me a second there, and I don't think he was unstable. I think that what he was is he was raised by Tiberius, and Tiberius, in my opinion, is one of the best generals that Rome ever had, aside from the real great ones like Julius Caesar and Scipio Africanus, and I think one other one, but I can't remember his name. Those ones that just really are Marcus Aurelius and Trajan are probably some of the best military generals that they had. But I don't think it was really enough. But Caligula knows how to play politics, or he did, and he understood how to use fear and blood to get what he wanted, because again, Tiberius was not exactly known for being a very kind and gentle soul. And so Tiberius, after being raised by one of the most powerful, the most powerful man in the world for the majority of his young life, and essentially being held hostage on Tiberius's private island for God knows what purposes. Allegedly, it was a sex island, doing the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. Allegedly. Like, he knew how to be a general. He knew how to lead men to an extent, although he never, to my knowledge, actually ran his own military campaign, but he knew how to grind people down. He knew how to mess with their heads, because that's what Tiberius did a lot. At least that's what it seems. And I love Tiberius, because Tiberius insults the Senate all the time. Not that I dislike, political bodies that, are at least somewhat democratic, but at the same time, it's like the Senate literally could not function without the emperor. That was how bad it was. The Senate was so dysfunctional at this time. But anyway, I even forgot why I started talking about Caligula. But yeah, Caligula murdered so many people that at one point he stood on top of I think it's a parapet or like a column, and he threw down buckets of gold coins. He just threw them into a crowd, and of course the crowd went nuts for them. But he did it just so we could watch the blood, essentially. So you could watch people just have a frenzy over the money. It's crazy, man. Like, but then again, that was a teenager given unlimited power, which, by the way, the Senate voted for, which just doesn't make any sense to me. You voted like a 16 or 18-year-old kid who's never had to work for it, he's not done anything to earn it. He just, hey, I'm the emperor thanks to Tiberius. I deserve to be king, or sorry, emperor. Give it to me, and they did. What idiots! Because the first two times they did this wasn't enough of a red flag. They had to do it again. I really think Augustus was probably the worst thing that ever happened to Rome.
Men are losing faith. The men are broken and running for their lives.
I know a lot of people would say that Augustus was probably the best Roman emperor, and I was like, he's probably the best Roman emperor. But like, he was a terrible. Like, the fact that he existed was terrible for the Republic and the Empire. Yeah, get them out of the way.
Unit has been destroyed.
Really interesting. But it's crazy because even back then they all cared about they still cared about like the empire. They still cared about their nation and their country. So yeah, there'd be a lot of blood. They definitely do a lot of backstabbing, but at least early on they still cared about their country. Or at least made it seem like they did. But it's hard for me to say that for this time period. People just got so lazy. Even the emperors did that. They just didn't even lift a finger to save anything. Like, and in as strange as it may sound,
Men's resolve is failing.
I've heard some historians talk about, like, I'll listen to YouTube channels on history and whatnot, and I had to revisit this a little bit, but
This is a shameful display.
I hear historians just talk about how, like, they just didn't try. They just stopped caring about their empire. They just assumed everything was always going to be this way. And I was like, why would you ever assume that? Like, Rome had been losing war after war after war and had had so many defeats at the hands of barbarians because because they freaking Romanized the barbarians. Like, and actually one of the things that really I think helped bring down the empire was the fact that when they split it, they didn't think about what was costing was. So like the East, which had very few enemies and lots of trade, was horrendously profitable. It was so insanely profitable. Let's get those numbers back up. But they didn't think about, the West. Or if they did, they didn't think too hard about it because the West is where all the enemies were. Alright, how much money do I get this return? Political favors. They didn't think about how much money it costs to keep all the armies up in the West. Well, the East didn't have some of these problems. Which was great for the East, but not great for the West. And so what you have is people that don't have the money to do this. Ah, crud. I need gold pits. Ah, god dang it. I need to raise forces. Even if it's just comitatenses. Yeah, I agree. I don't think they really learned, and I don't think that the Western Romans, whenever their empire collapsed, I think they still didn't learn. That's the crazy part. Even after everything fell apart, they still didn't learn. It's kind of scary when you think about it. All right, I think I can move you guys over here and probably get ready to take these guys out. But you're still low on morale. What's y'all's problem right now? Difficulty, events, taxes, religious differences, and immigrants. So you don't like the immigrants, huh? You got food. Let's give you that. Let's see. Let's give you that. But yeah, so one of the things that let me make sure this is Acadius or Honorius. Honorius. Okay, so Honorius did something really. He did something smart and stupid at the same time. So before before this time period, I guess you could call it. The Ostrogoths start coming into the territories, right? The Ostrogoths, of course, I defeated their. I think I did defeat them, and then they're still hanging on right over here somewhere. Oh, yeah, they are. There's the Ostrogoths. I killed their king, but that's neither here nor there. But instead of doing what he should have done, which was try to keep them at arm's length, I guess you could say, or maybe kind of make them more Romanized and make them loyal to Rome. Instead, what he did is they Romanized these barbarians, and the barbarians then turned on them just because they got tired of being vassals to them, which is what you'd expect. They saw that the empire that was housing them was weak, they needed food, so what do? They said, okay, fine, let's just go take our food. Well, that's what happens. And it's crazy to think about, man. It's like how fast things fell. And then eventually, what the West eventually became to the East eventually saw the West as basically just a vassal state to essentially everything else. And especially when the barbarians came in. And what's even weirder is the fact that when the barbarians came in, the barbarians were relatively Romanized. So the people just kept living life as if nothing had happened, even though the Western Roman Empire fell. People just kind of kept living as if it never did, which is kind of crazy. Like, it took years, that's like centuries, I think, before it finally stopped being what we would consider to be Roman. It's kind of weird. Alright, let's see here. So y'all are going to Corduba. If I can get you early, I'll be good. Well, so the thing is that the Ostrogoths and the Visigoths, however you want to call them, because I don't think there was a big difference at this time. I don't think there was one. It's just the Goths. They were barbarians, and if you know anything about Roman history, the reason why the Romans essentially were able to defeat the barbarians, and I use easily very loosely, but they were able to defeat them so decisively, I should say, is because they didn't have the technology or the fighting tactics the Romans did. Well, what they would do is they would take these barbarians, and they would put them in their military, and they'd train them to be Romans. And that's one of the things I actually said early on in my series for the Western Roman Empire, is that if you're going to make a nation, don't ever use outsiders to fund or to build your military. It's suicide. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have all of your own people who don't have to sacrifice anything living off the sacrifice of others, and that's going to make them tough. Those people that you're going to send to war, you're going to make them extremely tough, and they're not going to like you. They're going to resent you because they're going to look at you as people that just live off of their sacrifice, which is 100% true in the case of the Roman empires. At least the East was smart enough to keep some of their stuff, in their own house. But the West used the barbarians to help fight off other barbarians using Roman tactics. So whenever the barbarians came up, they were well versed in how the Romans fought. They were well equipped, and they knew how to strike and how to kill the Romans. So you created the thing that killed you. And if you actually look back far enough, in order to even be in the military in Rome, or as a part of the Roman army, you needed to be a landowner. You needed to have skin in the game. It needed to matter what you did. So that way, it made sure that you were loyal to the Roman Empire. Whereas, eventually they got rid of that. Why? Because it's more cost-effective to have non-landowning people, these peasants that could say, hey, you could spend an entire career in the military instead of just, hey, I'm going to go to war for the season, and then when it's done, I'm going to go get my crops. Which actually really that system really strengthened the Roman army, actually, in a weird way, because if there was no endless wars, and there just like one country from today, but they ended up having, I think that was the height of their power, though. 1 second. All right, let's keep going. But, and again, I'll say that I get that what they did was at the time was kind of like a necessary thing, but they really, really needed to make sure those barbarians were loyal to Rome, or at least take captives of some kind, so that they would not turn on Rome. And I think Honorius was just really stupid about that. And I really hate to say it that way, but Honorius was just a terrible, terrible emperor. Then again, most of them were, so. I only got $22 left in the bank, so that's not going to do me much good. Of course, more sieging. I would like to start pushing back, but I don't think I'll ever get the chance before the Huns really arrive, and then the Huns will just clean my freaking clock. Oh, you're gonna siege that, aren't you? Well, at least I got a chance to fight and win this one. Let's see if I can kill their general. Yeah, the Eastern Roman Empire still. This is another crazy part, is because the Eastern Roman Empire kind of diverged and was never really. It was Roman, and they considered themselves Roman. They had a very different view of what Roman looked like, in many, many respects. I don't remember all the stuff off the top of my head, but I do know that the way that the Eastern Roman Empire functioned and the way the Western Roman Empire functioned was very, very different. Which is probably for the best, because the Eastern Roman Empire lasted another 1,000 years before it fell, and it really only fell with the incursions of the rise of Islam. That's what really did it. Because past that, I mean, it was functioning very well, actually. It even there's a section that in Total War Attila that I would love to play on livestream, where Flavius Belisarius is sent to actually retake the Western Roman Empire, and they do, but only for a short time. I can't remember exactly how long it is, but eventually, one of the really cool things about it is the fact that when the East came to if you want to say liberate the West, the West had only been gone for like 80, or not even that, like 50 years. So people that were there during the fall of the Western Roman Empire they were still there. Like, their families were still there. The people that could still remember when it was still existing. So when the East came back and said, hey, we're going to reunite the empire, it's like, yeah, let's do it, man. That's what we want. They never stopped being Roman, which was really crazy. And so they would walk into these cities that were under control of the Ostrogoths or whoever had it at the time, and Belisarius would walk in and say, hey, do you want to be part of the Roman Empire? And they'd be like, yeah. And so a lot of times they didn't even have to put up a fight to actually bring the empire back into the fold. It was crazy. But eventually, I think the Persians attacked the east, and then Belisarius got called back, and then when he got called back, the West fell again. And I think that was the last time it had ever been under Roman control, is that one small sliver of hope.
The enemy refuses to admit defeat. Their unit has rallied.
Hello, Ewok. How are you doing? And I appreciate that. I try to make my voice nice and buttery smooth for everyone listening. I'm living that dream, boss. Sorry, that was a bit scratchy. I'm reminiscing history and waxing philosophical and going, how do these people not know bad things were going to happen? Look at me, my fancy Western man with my super hindsight 2020 vision. But I'm glad you joined us, Ewok. I'm very glad you joined us. We've gone through many pieces of history, but right now we are going to try and rewrite history. We're going to try and save the Western Roman Empire from utter collapse, and right now we're not succeeding very well. Well, I guess this fight we're succeeding, but the majority of the fight's not going well. But I'm doing quite well. It's Friday. Tomorrow's beach day, so it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I need to get behind these guys ASAP. Oh, they've got reinforcements. Oh, God. Okay, so maybe this was a bad decision. I might lose this fight. Run him in there, run him in there, run him in there. Go, 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 go. This is a terrible decision.
Enemy units have returned to the battle.
Alright. So, Mr. Ewok, what brings you to our stream? Is it the history? Is it the part where I'm playing the Western Roman Empire? The only, or the first and last Christian empire to ever exist? Is it because you're bored and you've got nothing to do on a Friday night? All of these things are acceptable. I'm just curious. Ah, have you played Attila yet? Ooh, it's so. Okay, so here's the thing. I like Attila. I do. This isn't my favorite time in history because it's really, really sad. In most other time periods, you know, even after an empire collapses, usually life is okay. But because this era brings about the Dark Ages, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, I enjoy playing it, but it kind of just bums me out a little bit when I think about it, because it's like, wow, the people that live here, like within 100 years, their lives not only will have completely changed, but the amount of work, effort, and fear and anxiety that must go along with it just has completely just been drowned in it in many cases. I would recommend it. There's a lot of really good DLC for it too. The only real complaint I have with it is kind of the same complaints I have with Rome 2 going forward, which is the and again, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. So this is probably what you're gonna get, aside from maybe the Total War Warhammer and oh crap, y'all are gonna come. But I think that this game is probably a lot better than even some of the newer ones. I haven't played Three Kingdoms, but I'm not really interested in the three. What is it called? I'm not really interested in the romantic kingdoms of China. I don't think they're bad. I'm not really interested in it. I'm more interested in medieval era, and then the Roman era. Oh, and the Shogun. I love the Shogun stuff that they have. Shogun 2 is definitely my favorite. Yeah, this is the end of this fight. Total War Attila is a lot of fun, but it does have some flaws. I really miss having the ability to create armies without individual like generals. I like just having armies that walk around. I know that's not technically historically accurate, but at the same time, I'd rather be able to garrison up a area without having to completely update a settlement. Let's see here. Get him. Aha. Crap, I'm not even doing it today. I'm just all over the board today. I would say Total War Attila's weakness, if I could say anything, comes into its siege battles. Just like I would say Rome 2's weakness is its siege battles. It's not that they're bad, it's just that they like in Rome 1, they felt really big and larger than life. Whereas in Attila, they seem kind of more down to earth, which isn't bad. But it just leaves something to be desired. It's the same issue that I would have with Total War Warhammer, except for Total War Attila still has that breath of classic Total War in it. Whereas Total War Warhammer doesn't really have it anymore. And I'm not even against the idea of having heroes. I love the idea of having heroes. Although you don't really get the hero stuff in this too much. But if you can pick it up for cheap, I'd recommend it. Now, I'd also recommend picking up the Last Roman campaign. Ah, there it goes. I'd recommend getting the Last Roman campaign and the Age of Charlemagne. Those are both really good DLCs, because the Age of Charlemagne puts you into the rise of the feudal eras and the beginning of the European kingdoms that emerged after Rome. And if you know the history, it's kind of funny because all these barbarian kingdoms started popping up that were, you know, that basically took pieces of Rome over time. It's just kind of interesting to me. Like the Franks became the French, of course. More. Jeez. Okay, there's no point in fighting this fight. I got 3. Yeah, that's not even a point. Just run out there and die, guys. Now, what's even more interesting is that, oh, you buggers. Freaking Huns. Always the Huns. Now, what is interesting, though, is that the wealthy Romans that knew what was happening to Rome, they fled Rome before the sacking of Rome, which is kind of interesting to me, that even back then, what the wealthy did is that they would take all their money that they had and they would run. They didn't actually stay and fight. They didn't try to save it. They just said, we're not going to deal with this. We're just going to run. And then what they did, and this is even more interesting, because actually this is one of my weaker history moments. I'm more knowledgeable on ancient Rome than I am with the fall of the Western and Eastern Roman empires. I've had to kind of restudy up on this a little bit. I really do like history, though. I am a big fan of learning history. If I can sit down and listen to a 6-hour podcast of nothing but historical facts, I'd probably do it. I really enjoy learning about how things used to be and the different little nuances of what was going on. Like, for instance, the necktie that we wear for suits comes from old armor from the medieval ages. I think even the Gothic era as well. Let's see, where are we fighting? We're fighting over here, because the male shirts that they had were cheap, but the piece that stuck it all together was expensive, and so that tie would actually keep your armor from like flailing around. And I know this because I have way too much. I had way too much time in a section of my life. In another life, I had way too much time. Hold on, before I start talking about that. But yeah, so what ended up happening is that as those times went on and those barbarians became into the nobility, or as they evolved into being noblemen, they actually would use the tie to signify that they were better or special, because no one could afford the tie except for the wealthy. And so they would use that as a status symbol. I think this is a bad setup. I think I need to move these guys back a little bit. Yeah, they're going to win that. There's no point in even fighting this over here.
Enemy reinforcements have been spotted.
Yeah, I know this is going to be a long shot. A long shot's being nice. But yeah, I love history. I love learning about it. That being said, though, I want history. I don't want people's opinion on what's going on. Like, or another little fun fact: Caligula, the third Roman emperor, used to poison himself. That would act with a poison that he invented or he discovered. I can't remember which, so that he could keep eating. He was such a glutton. He would actually take a poison that would allow his stomach lining to expand so he could keep eating. So he'd poison himself to eat. How weird is that? I don't even know why I brought my cavalry in here. Alright, let's get you guys out of here. Just knock them over. And by the way, I think there was his parties were so expensive that I think it was what? Every party he threw was a year's worth of tax revenue. Is that what I think that's what the number was? So like, it cost so much to perform one of his parties that it would literally burn through a full year's worth of tax revenue, and he'd have multiples of these parties every year. That guy was just he was a teenager that said, "I'm the emperor. I'm going to do what I want, and nothing can stop me." And here's the funny part: I actually like things that Caligula did. They were funny, and a lot of people thought he was crazy, and I don't think he was crazy. Even some historians think he's crazy. I don't believe he was crazy. the stuff that he did was too calculated to be crazy. I'm not saying he wasn't stupid. He was really stupid, but I don't think he was crazy. So like one of the things that he did was that he, every emperor needed to go on a campaign in order to, I guess, gain the trust or the admiration of the army. And because of the way that Caligula was crowned emperor, he didn't have that opportunity. He didn't want that opportunity. So what he did is he took his army north towards England, and when he got to the Channel, instead of invading anything, he told the men to attack the sea. And of course that was kind of strange and stupid. There are too many people coming over here. But what was it like? Why would you do that? That's the big question you got to ask yourself. Why would somebody who is crazy do that? Oh, that just sounds so insane, right? Well, it could be. It could be that he's insane, but I don't think that's the case. I think what it was, that his design was to wear down these men. These were hardened veterans that were wanting to go to war to gain spoils. And he said, I'm not interested in going to war. I don't want to go to war. I'm interested in basically having fun and having a party. And that's what he did. So what's the next best thing? He took all these hardened men and had them literally unsheathe their swords and stab at the sea. And then their spoils were the seashells on the seashore, or on the beach. How degrading and humiliating must that be for a veteran soldier to do that? And you say, well, that's probably the reason why he didn't last very long. They probably killed him. Yes, but it's also a hard thing to come back from your quote unquote, conquest with a bunch of seashells. That kind of wears you down, It doesn't sound to me like he was crazy. It sounds to me like what he was doing was mocking them and making fun of them, saying that he is the one in control, not them. That's just me, because the military never turned on him. That's the next funny part. The military never turned on Caligula, even though he was a terrible piece of crap. I'm gonna lose this fight. And that wasn't the only crazy thing he did. During one of his meetings with the Senate was, of course, trying to, quote-unquote, direct him. And excuse me. Need a drink here. 1 second. Crap. They're going to go after my cohorts. And this is one of the things that if you know anything about history, you've probably heard this story, at least for the fact that they thought he was crazy, which is the fact that he made the Senate's consul his horse. So he appointed his horse to consul of Rome. But at this point in time, the Roman Senate really didn't do much without the emperor anyway. So it was kind of like this point where he would say, hey, you are so useless to me. My horse has more value than you do. My horse is more of a better advisor than anything the Roman Senate would give them. Even though the beginning of his reign, he promised the Senate that he would definitely totally honor the traditions of Rome, which of course he didn't. As a matter of fact, this is also before the days of, I take it back. So after Roman emperors died, especially early on in the empire, after they died, I don't know about you, but I need to turn the volume down for this because it's too loud. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but anytime something major happens or the announcer comes on, it's loud. God dang it. Well, seems that I'm not going to save much of my empire at this rate. But one of the things he also did is that he actually, at that same meeting... Oh, okay, man. Take it easy, Ewok. You can always come back and watch later. I got more history to talk about. More little events. More fun things. Okay, let's see what we got. Why do they give them all these freaking high-end units? But one other thing that he did was, while he was at that meeting and he was talking about his new consul being his horse, One of the things that he did is that he took one of the senator's wives into the back chamber, like has slept with her, and then just brought her right back. And everybody knew it had happened, but of course he's the emperor. You can't do anything, right? Because he's essentially like, you're not allowed to talk back to him. He is the emperor. Again, I'm not quite sure why the Senate even existed at that point, but you know, whatever. Let's put you guys here, actually. But yeah, no, there's a lot of really cool stuff that he did. I say cool stuff, interesting stuff that he did. Like another thing was that I cannot remember if this. I think it's in. It's not Rhodes. It's not Crete. But there's an island. I think just off of Italy. It's a small little area, and I cannot remember the name of it at all. But essentially, okay, this has got to be turned down. It's too loud for me. Let's see. Where's my audio? Let's turn down the speech a little bit. Turn down the effects. Where I think he spent like an entire year partying, just like a full nonstop year. And one of the things that he had done is he actually had an entire. I remember he did it because it was an insult to somebody else. Which again, that was, you know, Caligula. That's what he did. But what he would do, or what he did, is he actually linked a bunch of these giant boats together, and he essentially created a giant bridge across one end of this strait to the other, just so that he could have a party that he could walk from one side of the city to the other. And he would march his, I think he would march his whores across it, and he would do that because he thought it was funny. Where he would have this party and he would dress up as a general, but in reality he's just marching a bunch of hookers and like, you know, party goers with him, where they would just march across the city in like Roman in army formations because funny. I mean, it probably was. And then another thing he did is that he commissioned I think 2 boats that we didn't even know existed until after World War II. Because the Senate sunk them, but he wanted floating palaces and he got them, and the whole point of it was that he could go there and it was just a palace floating on a lake. It didn't go anywhere. It had no way to steer it. It just floated on the lake. It was made out of mostly wood and marble. It had a heating system. It had running water. Like, it was crazy. The level of detail that they could get into and the technological achievements they accomplished even back then, it was crazy. And I saw a documentary on it. I thought I wish I could remember what the documentary was because it was pretty cool. But it wasn't after. Oh, geez, what was it? It was after the Italians, I think, drained a lake. And because at first they had heard rumors of it, but nobody actually believed it. Everybody just thought his party boats were just a myth. And it turns out they were all true. And I think only one of them survived, though. The other one did not. But I know that the bombings in that area were really severe, so that's what kind of did the rest of them in. But man, it was crazy because the thing was huge. It took up like half the lake. I'm spending so much time talking about history. I'm not even paying attention to my fights here. This is bad. I needed to flip these. I needed to put my spearmen over here and not my cohorts. Yeah, like, I mean, like, there's actually. I wonder if I could find pictures of it. I'm gonna see if I can find pictures of it. Let's see. Yeah. Where is it? Can I find this? I don't want the actual structure. I want the actual, like, what they thought it looked like, or what it actually looked like before it was destroyed. The Nemi ships, as they were called. That's what I remember right.
Control is failing.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to win this fight. I get it.
Our men flee the field of battle.
But now there was a historian that kind of put them together, and they actually kind of showed what it would look like before everything went to hell. And they're massive boats. They're just massive, massive boats. And it's pretty cool, actually. I just wish that I wish I had, I could find a picture of it. I would probably just stop this to show it real quick. Oh my. You better break. Run, run, horsies, run.
Our men run from the enemy. This is shameful. The tide of battle turns against us.
Yeah.
Men are wavering.
Come on. I know. I know the outcome of these fights. I'm just here to bleed you guys as much as I can. That's pretty much all I'm here to do. Alright, you're exhausted. Pull back. Let's not exhaust you any further. Let's get you back up to... Oh, get that too. Get in on that. Let's get you up here. So what's on your docket tomorrow, Grim?
The men are losing hope.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm trying to bleed him as best I can.
We must defend the barricade.
Yeah, this is going to be a fight that I don't think I can win. It'll be close, but it won't be enough. Ah, crap.
Breaking off.
Ooh, another thing I didn't think about too. I actually found this out not too long ago. The Colosseum, you know, like the one in Rome, like that apparently. Ah, crap. I hope you hold. Just hold. They use that as a garbage dump. I did not know that. I know they used to use them as like places to live and like for squatters, but like after under Honorius, he banned gladiatorial games because, you know, Christianity at the time, you know, I say at the time, Christianity was like, no, you know, watching people get butchered is not Christian. What was the guy's name? Oh my gosh, what was the guy's name? Oh my gosh, what is the guy's name? He was a monk. He died because he stepped inside the ring. Oh jeez, what's the guy's name? He's really famous, at least in that regard. Telemachus, that's what it is, Telemachus.
The general has fallen. Our victory grows ever nearer.
So what he did is that, and I want to get this right because let's see. Oh wow, I might win this actually. What was his famous last words? Anyway, basically, he was martyred at one of the last games, allegedly. And when that happened, let's see if I can charge you guys. That's for you guys. Just run them too. Don't break! Don't break! Don't break! No!
Our men have given up and are running for their
Oh god dang it! Okay. Break! 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 No, charge them. But yeah, so that was one of the last moments where there was any kind of Roman battles in the West. It's very interesting. I think I think Honorius had already outlawed it though. Again, something about blood sports in an arena just didn't quite do it for the Christians. Even though, of course, everybody likes blood sport, but still. You better run. Salona. Man, I'm going to spend the entire time just defending this. So yeah, these guys won't be able to handle this. There's just too many people. Alright. Let's put you here. Yep. Putting you over here. And then for barricades, I wish you could just drop the barricades anywhere rather than only at predetermined locations. This is so dumb. Alright, let's put you guys here and... No, come here. Really? That's all you're going to give me? Okay, fine. Alright. Alright. I only have one set of cohorts. Okay. What are you aiming for? Are you aiming for my skirmishers? Okay. Anyway, so as I was saying, eventually what they did with the Colosseum after the Western Roman Empire actually fell, or actually even before that, they just used it as a giant garbage dump. They just stopped maintaining it. They just stopped doing anything with it, and it's weird. It's so weird. It's like how again, a culture got so late it didn't even know how to run its own city anymore. It didn't know how to deal with this garbage, so it just threw it in the freaking Colosseum. And I'm not saying the Colosseum's someplace kind of sacred or anything like that. It's just a giant freaking, blood dome. But still, like, that'd be like, I don't know. It's like throwing a bunch of trash in a Yankee Stadium because we're just like, I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, like, but the Colosseum was like, that's where people went to kind of unwind. Like that was through like, hey, I'm gonna watch the games. Like that was a big event. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it would be like filling up a Yankee Stadium with trash, or a football stadium or anything like that. Just filling up something that people go to relax, and just going, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore. It's just all garbage, and just literally filling it with trash. It's so weird to me. And it just re-emphasizes my point that it's really weird to me that the entire civilization, it's like it just gave up. It didn't know what to do with itself. Once the empire split and then Rome had been sacked, it was just kind of like kind of living off life support at best. It just didn't have the strength to do anything. I just find that really weird. At least the British Empire later on, it gave up its territory, but it didn't give up its way. It didn't give up its way of life. And neither did the Romans, but and maybe I'm being too nice about it for the British, but it just seems like the British did it, and we're like, no, this is the right thing to do, whereas the Western Roman Empire did it, and it was more like, well, I just can't be bothered to deal with this. I don't care. At least whenever the British gave up their rights to, India and South Africa and places like that, they did so under principle, at least. At least that's what it seems like. Whereas the Western Roman Empire, we're just like, I just don't want to do it anymore. I don't care. You know, it's really weird. But I mean, they've always had trash, so why did you stop using the places where you got rid of trash, you know? It can't be that big of a difference, you know? Right?
Some of the walls are breached.
But I don't know. Maybe, again, this is maybe me being too critical of the Western Romans because I really don't know. You know, I don't know enough of what was going on to say for certain. Hey, this was a you know, you know, they had options. I don't know if they had options, but it just seems like again, it's just how fast it feels like the West falls in history. It's just like wow, it's just so quick. Once the first sacking happens, it's like that's it, you're done. And it just keeps happening. I don't think you ever after the Roman Empire splits, the Western Roman Empire never has a good Roman or a good emperor ever again. It's just you have an emperor, but the emperor is still terrible, and it doesn't get better until finally they have Roman Emperor Romulus. I think his name Romulus, and he is the last one who instead of fighting and dying, he actually. Why are y'all going over here? What's over here? There's nothing over here. Where are you going? Instead of fighting, he actually is like a 15 or 16-year-old kid, and I think the Odoacer, the Gothic king at the time, was like, I'm not even gonna bother killing you. I'm just gonna send you back to the east and just tell you that the West no longer needs an emperor. Where are they going? I have no idea where they're going here. Hello. Where are they going? What are they doing? I don't know. It just seems really weird to me that like, and I get it. Like the Western Roman Empire didn't have nearly the resources, the money that the East did, but instead of trying to restructure something or do something about that, they just kind of let it sit, and it's because the emperor just didn't care. And after what 1,000 years or plus of just having the emperor decide and lead everything, you know, I guess that works up until it doesn't. You know. Even if it's bloody and awful, like at least the emperor was in charge. I don't know. I still don't quite fully understand it. But then again, like, the West fell for a lot of different reasons. I don't think laziness was the only one. But actually, I've ranted for like, what, 30 minutes, and I still didn't actually finish my original thought of why you shouldn't have foreigners in your consisting of your military. Or I think maybe I finished that point. I don't even know. I'm getting tired. After this fight, I'll probably have to call it a night anyway. Maybe in like 10 years we'll finish this campaign. But I find that this campaign is horrendously tedious, and I gotta take a break from it. Because everything is just simply, you're just trying to hold off the inevitable. Inevitable. Oh my. Ooh. Okay, well, I'm not going to go yet. My emperor gets to have a fight here. And I want to say that, is it Constantinus or I can't remember if it's Constantinus or Constantine is the one who adopted, I know, right? Well, it takes a lot more time when everyone's at war with you. I think it was Constantine or Constantinus, I can't remember which, the one of the Roman emperors who adopted the crossed, is it crossed P or the crossed Q? Can't remember which. That weird, like, you know, because the Roman symbol used to be the eagle, and then it eventually, you know, stayed the eagle, but then it became something else where they added the little cross symbol. What is it called? Does the symbol around here anywhere yet? Or is it up there at all? I don't even know. Let me see. Where's my... Yeah, this symbol right here. I think he adopted this symbol after allegedly having a vision where an angel came down to him and said, like, by this symbol you shall conquer, or whatever. And so he put it on all of his shields and all of his armor. That's the legend. Commandantes! It's either Constantine or Constantinus. So I can't remember which, because there's two of them, or there's actually multiples of them. There's Constantinus, Constantine, and there's like the other Constantines as well. I think it's Constantine the First. Is I think the one that did that. But he's the one that actually kind of, you know, revitalized the West before it fell. But that was years and years and years beforehand. That time is way gone before this, from my understanding or from my remembrance. Not really a good place to put any of these, but oh well. Get all my cavalry out here. But that's one of the reasons why I like some of the art style for Attila. They at least tried to bring some of that art style back from, you know, some of the more classic ones, where you could see where they turned their Colosseum into a little hovel area. It's just a place where people now live. It's just it looks run down and just kind of like ramshackled together. Which again, I appreciate that. Now, on a side note, I would love to see if they could just update Shogun 2. I'd be very happy. I love the Shogun franchise that they have, and of course they don't touch it. And I think they don't touch it because, you know, well, oh crap, I'm getting shot at by that. Let's just charge. Move you guys right here. Alright. But no, I love history. I love reading about history. I love learning history. I'm not gonna lie. Even before COVID, I dropped off a little bit. But recently, I kind of started up again, and I really appreciated it. But it felt really hard to do it, though. It felt really hard to just pick up, you know, something. It's like, where do I start? And it's like, just start somewhere and just work your way down. And then a whole bunch of stuff came flooding back. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like, you know, I would say it's kind of like riding a bike. You never forget, but it's one of those things where, you know, once you start exercising that muscle again, you remember, oh yeah, I remember this too. Oh, I remember that. I remember this. It's really weird. Well, to me, it's weird. Oh, crap. Already? Crap. Jeez. I need to get these men in Tetsudo formation as fast as I possibly can. Let's see, let's move you guys over here. I want to get my general, and I want to get some kills for my general. Oh, you're turning this way. Okay, you're turning this way. Let's move you guys back. You're just going to get massacred without being in your right formation. But I think the most important thing people can actually walk away with is the fact that with the Western Roman Empire, one of the reasons why they fell is because they kept devaluing their own currency. Starting with Nero, that was the first time it ever happened, as far as I know. Was they kept devaluing their currency. They kept inflating it and inflating it and inflating it and inflating it until it wasn't worth much. So then, you know, what happens is the poor people can't really go do anything. They can't move forward. They can't grow. They can't do anything. And the rich people, it didn't matter because they owned all the land. So it didn't really matter if they couldn't, you know, if they charged exorbitant prices. People would have to pay it. It's awful. It's awful stuff. Yeah, let's get my Roman general, the Roman emperor. I'm trying to remember the first emperor that was actually captured in combat. What was his name? I can't remember his name. But I remember like in the western side, it was one of the first emperors that ever was captured alive, and then he was eventually murdered, or say murdered, killed. Murdered is not the right word. Jeez, my cohorts are just getting massacred. I'm burning through my infantry so fast. Alright, so where's my cavalry? Alright, cavalry, just stay there. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope he doesn't kill him, but that might be what happens. Because now my emperor is caught between a rock and a hard place. But I should still win this fight regardless. Oof. Time to speed up this fight. Just gotta see who wins. There we go, perfect. Alright, I think that'll be my end for this evening. See, how many kills did he get? How many kills did you get, bud? No, not that. I don't want that. Also, I hate this. I hate this. The encyclopedia is annoying. I don't know why I have to connect to an off-site server just to get information on units in the game. Back in the day, you could see it all there. That's it. But no, now you have to connect to the Total War Encyclopedia. Alright. Alright, there we go. Let's save. What is that, like, what number? We're on, what, turn 20, 21 at most? Yeah, 20. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed. I know that I did. Especially reminiscing about old history. Oh, crap. I hope everybody had a good time. I will see you all tomorrow where we're going to pick up our game of XCOM. And hopefully our luck holds. So I'd love to see us do better and better. And then actually I have a little fun thing that's going on Ham and I are working on putting a Discord server together so that I can actually start updating things and keeping things. So I can actually form a little community so we can start doing stuff on there. Haven't quite figured it out just yet. I don't really use Discord much now, but maybe what we can do in the future is have a bunch of people get on at once. We could all be talking over each other, and we maybe, if we can, maybe play some games together if time and capacity allows. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good night. I'm hoping that maybe by the end of the weekend I can actually start sending out those invites to people and actually putting them in my Twitch and Twitter accounts so that people can log in and join. I hope everybody has a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow evening. Have a good night.